My name's Annika, and yes, I'm still wearing the same sweater I was last time. It hasn't been too long, I swear. My name's Annika, and I have a problem. I start way too many books without finishing them. And it's not that I don't intend to finish them, I definitely do. But some of them have taken me as long as October. This one I've been reading since October and I haven't finished it. It's time for me to finish these books. And so I have set myself a challenge to see how many books that I can get done in a week's time. That is 7 books total because I have 6 physical books and a 7th audiobook. And by the math that I have done, that is 232 pages a day and then some of the audiobook. But I think that I can do this. That's not too bad. That's a lot of pages, and I'm not a fast reader exactly. Let's just see how many I can really get done. So join me on yet another little reading vlog for this week. So for our first book, probably let's go with the oldest book that I've been reading, is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This is one of those really popular books that, Colleen Hoover is all over the place. She is a sensation at the moment. And I really wanted to try one of her books, and it just didn't really catch me. It's okay. It's fine. But nothing about it is exactly hooking me. And that's why I've been reading it since October, and I've gotten to a little over halfway. So we are going to finish this book. It's going to be pretty easy because it's not that long of a book, but we are going to finish this book. And then we have 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. And this is also a book that I've been reading since, I think, February. But that's a little bit more understandable because it's not a novel, which takes a little bit more time for me. But this amount of time, it shouldn't. But I think I'm going to try and read a little bit of this every single day just so that it doesn't overwhelm me, because it does get a little bit repetitive from what I remember. And then we have the ever favorite Zodiac Academy. This is the 4th installment. It's called Shadow Princess. And you already saw this one. This is the book that I'm addicted to at the moment. So this will be pretty easy to get through. I'll get lots of pages through this one. I'm just over halfway through this one as well. And then we still have The Night Circus to get through because both Ellie and I did not finish it, and we weren't able to listen to the audiobook together as much as we thought. So I'm going to finish this one. Also about halfway through. I'm gonna finish this one in no time because it's probably going to start getting better is what I'm thinking. And then we have 2 Weeks Notice by Amy Porterfield. And this is a book that my mom got me during a time when I was really stressed out about my job and figuring out what I was doing for work. And then I found myself a new job and left this to the wayside. So I am excited to continue reading this just because it seemed really helpful and very inspiring. And then finally, of the physical copies, we have The Inadequate Heir by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the 3rd installment in the Bridge Kingdom series, which I have. These are the first 2 books. They were a TikTok sensation a while ago. I flew through this first one and loved the second one. I think I actually liked the second one more than the first one. The 3rd book centers around different characters, but they're also incredible. I'm really excited for this one, and I'm not entirely sure why this one's been taking me as long as it has because it is totally up my alley, and I really love Danielle L. Jensen's writing. So I'm excited to get through this one again. This one, I'm still a little bit at the beginning here. So that's that with the physical copies. And then we have about 7 hours and 58 minutes left of Hello Beautiful by Ann Napolitano. I listened to about half of it during my drive back from Seattle, and I was really enjoying it. So I'm excited to take some walks, get some outdoor time, and just listen to the rest of that book. So I have no idea how this is going to go. Probably not as successful as I think it's going to go, but we're gonna try our best. did it. Not quite. I didn't do every single book. I got 6 books finished out of 7 in 7 days, and I'm actually very proud of myself, seeing as I didn't have a single day off this week. So the only book that I did not finish was The Zodiac Academy, which, shocking, I know, because I was addicted to this book, but I kept thinking that this was like the easy one for me to finish, so I kept putting it off, and it is an easy one to finish. I will be able to finish this probably by tonight or tomorrow, but I just wasn't able to finish it in the 7 days that I had set up for myself. So, incredible book. I'm really excited to finish that one. But let's talk about the books that I did finish. So, the first book that I finished was Ugly Love, which was okay. It was fine. It was, I know that everyone's all about Colleen Hoover. I know we talked about this before too. I didn't really care about it until probably the last 20% of the book, when the cover actually started making sense of like why the water. Yeah, it was okay. It just felt like both of them needed therapy. I don't know. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. So that's that one. And then I finished 2 Weeks Notice. And this is one of those books that is for anyone that's wanting to quit their job and start a new business, especially an online business. This is for you. I thought this was actually really helpful. I thought this gave a blueprint for how to start off and where to go. I think it's really difficult when you don't have an idea of what to start a business on. But I think I'm going to probably read this one again at some point when I get to a point where I want to start my own business. We'll see. Then I finished The Night Circus. And this one, I have heard so many good things about this book. Like, this is one of those books that when it first came out was a huge success and has been on recommended reading lists since then. I thought it was okay. I gave it 4 stars. I thought the writing was really beautiful. I really loved the world building here. The characters, I loved Bailey, I loved Poppet, I loved Widge. I thought they were all really incredible. When it came to Marco and Celia, I was a little bit less invested, and they were our main characters. For the majority of the book, I still didn't understand what was going on. Still a beautiful read, still gave it 4 stars, still enjoyed it quite a bit, but I wasn't as in love with it as other people are. Definitely interested in reading The Starless Sea. I would still recommend this book. I still think it would be really good, but it's not one of those top of the list for me. And then I finished The Inadequate Heir. And this was my favorite book by far that I read this week. We were talking about how I was like, it's really interesting that I haven't finished this one. I don't know why I hadn't finished this one. I just tore through this one. This was the book that I wanted to read every single day and was thinking about when I wasn't reading, when I was at work, when I was in the shower. Like, this was the book that I was thinking about. This is the 3rd book in the Bridge Kingdom installment, and I feel like the books just keep getting better and better as we keep going. The Bridge Kingdom is very popular, and I think that it's very much on the romantic side more, and it's a quick read, as well as, let me just grab those for you. So this is the 3rd book. Bridge Kingdom is the 1st book, and then The Traitor Queen is the 2nd book. First 2 books center around Lara and Aaron. This book centers around Karis and Zara. And at first I was not super excited about having some new characters just because I was so invested with these characters, but I love them. I love them so much. They're so amazing. They're both so strong and so smart and incredible. And then one of the things that was really awesome too was that reading this book made me fall in love with these books even more. Made me fall in love with Lara and Aaron even more. Especially Lara, like, she's such a badass. Like, what? That's incredible. Oh, this book is for those that are looking for a romantic fantasy, but with a little bit more fantasy than romance. I was more invested with the fantasy side of things, but there was obviously lots of romance, as you can see from our cover page. It is a love story. It is an enemies to lovers story. True enemies to lovers, like truly actually tried to kill each other and fall in love kind of thing, which is one of my favorites. But yeah, the world building is incredible. The intrigue, the politics, everything. It's just like, get this book, read the series. Danielle L. Jensen is quite a genius. I felt a little bit weird about the prison bar scene, which you'll probably know about if you've read this book. Felt a little bit weird about that, but otherwise thought it was really well done. There are some triggers, so please be aware of those. It is an adult fantasy and romance, so those are worth looking into. But otherwise, yeah, this book was incredible. They've escaped. Everything looks good. Why is there still this amount of book left? Why? But yeah, there was that moment of why in the world was there a huge section at the end when it seems like everything is going well, because nothing ends well with these books. It's got to be a cliffhanger. There's one more book, The Endless War, coming out in November, so I will definitely be getting that. Very excited about that. The last physical book that I read was 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. This is by Brianna Wiest. I've read her The Mountain Is You book. Both of these are also very popular on TikTok. And I honestly thought it was good. There's definitely a lot of lines that I underline, but in general, I thought it was very repetitive. I thought it was one of those books that, especially because I was reading it so quickly, everything seemed to just kind of blur together. I feel like this book is for your earlier 20s, and it is not exactly for me anymore. I am almost 30, so it feels like a little bit, how do I explain this? It feels like a lot of things that would have been very helpful to know when I was about 23 years old, but at this point in my life is something that I've already learned myself. And so there were things that I still underlined where I was just like, oh yes, this is really good. This is something that I have learned and is a good reminder. But in general, this book was not for me anymore. I thought this was fine. But yeah, very repetitive. This is definitely something that I would recommend reading earlier in your 20s, and then also to read slowly. Maybe read one essay per night or something like that. And I also feel like there's a lot of talk here of your mind has the power to change everything about your life. If you're unhappy, it's because you aren't strong enough in your brain. And as someone that has had chronic depression, for most of my life, I am a little bit adverse to this sort of thinking. For me, this was a little bit blind to a lot of mental health issues. But other than that, there was some good stuff in here. I also rated this about 3 stars. And then the audiobook that I finished was Hello Beautiful. It was an Oprah choice book, and one of those books that I feel like was very highly anticipated. It was really hard to get that on Libby. I had to wait for a little bit to get that book, but I enjoyed that one quite a bit. It was about 4 sisters and a man that marries into the family, and pretty much just about their life. It spans over, I want to say like 50 years or something like that. 50, 60 years. It was really incredible. I thought it was really beautifully done. I gave that one 4 stars. I still thought it was really enjoyable, but it just didn't, it wasn't one of my favorites. The only one that I gave 5 stars was The Inadequate Heir, because I thought it was so well done. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video this week. I hope you enjoyed my little reading challenge that I set for myself. I hope that there are some books that sounded very good to you and that you would pick up. I'm going to finish reading The Zodiac Academy this week and probably get the next one. It's so good. It's stupid, but it's really good. And I will see you next weekend and probably just have a little casual vlog. If you have any ideas that you want to see, please let me know. I will try my best. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.